So you guys today all have a packet that looks like this that I made and cut for you that will fit exactly in your sketchbook. So it's the perfect size for you to just tear out all the pages and from the staple and glue them in. So I want to see these 3 pages glued in your sketchbook. I might do that first. You can see that the techniques are all here for you. They're pretty standard, no tricks, but I want to give you some tips to make it more successful. So on a new page in your sketchbook, go ahead and write inking however you want. Make it crazy, add some flair. So when you hatch, you guys, you have to do it like you mean it, meaning your lines are bold and intentional, and they're brave, strong lines. They're very fast. If you go slow when you hatch, your lines have little wiggles in them, and they don't have the character that they do when they're quick and fast. And you can see that these lines start out a little thick, and then they taper to thin, and I have that faster stroke. So give that a try. Be bold. Be intentional with your lines. Once you get that mastered, you have figured out hatching. To make things darker, you'll just put your lines closer together. You can kind of go back and forth, or you can do it all at once. You can also do something called cross-hatching, which is to cross over your lines in a different direction. So give that a try. Now you can cross-hatch in 2 directions, or 3 directions, but you don't want to do more than that. Now, if you have a value that you want darker than this, that's where you don't add another direction. Instead, you just add more lines in one of the directions you already did. So that, my friends, is hatching and cross-hatching. They are amazing. We're going to go back to those in a minute, but we're moving on to my favorite, which is scribbling. I call it scumbling because that's like the more sophisticated version of it, but it's exactly what it looks like. It sounds weird to think scribbling is a cool technique, but what's cool about it is it's so gestural. You get to see the mark of the artist, and it's got a lot of character. So for scumbling, you are not going to do this. No curly cues, no figure 8s. Instead, it's just pen spasms. So notice that I just go crazy. Try that a bunch of different times all over this page. I don't care until you feel like you've got it. It's quick, it's messy, it's awesome. We're gonna also practice going from light to dark to light. Going dark is easy, going light is really hard. So let's go ahead and practice going really dark. Notice I'm going fast, I'm overlapping a lot, and wow, it's very close to black. Now I'm going to do this again for my medium tone, and I'm not going to go quite as fast or push quite as hard. There's medium. And for my light, I really have to slow down. I actually have to think now, which kills me. And I'm going to push really light and go slower. And that is my lighter value. Practice that lighter value a couple more times. Again, it's slower. My pen hardly touches the paper. I'm pushing so light. My lines are a lot more separated. So that is scribbling or scumbling. Our next technique is stippling, which is to shade with dots. A lot of people like stippling because they can be very intentional. It's an easy technique to be good at. However, it's so time consuming. I used to love stippling when I was a teenager, and I think I've become more impatient as an adult, and I do not enjoy it anymore. But the basics with stippling is you do not need to slam your pen on the paper. You do not need to make it rain and make noise. Instead, you just lightly tap and you get a variety of dots. You can spread those dots out for lighter areas, overlap them and make them close for the darker values. And that is stippling. So those are the 3 main inking techniques. I said we'd go back to hatching, and the reason why is there's another type of hatching called contour hatching. Contour hatching is where the lines curve with the surface of the project. So on page 3 of your packet, you're going to see this bottle, and you can see that the lines really curve with the contour edge of the bottle. In this flower, you see that the lines curve with each petal of the flower. They're closer together in the shadow areas, they're further apart in the highlights. This is an excellent example of the contour hatching. This is not a very good example because they did not curve their lines with the curve of the petal. So notice the two differences and see what a difference it can make. And it can really make or break a work of art. So I want to make sure you're comfortable with that. So on our practice page, let's just all draw a quick cylinder. So like I said, quick cylinder. Ooh, that's too quick. Okay, we'll draw an ellipse for the top. 2 parallel lines. Mine's going to be a short wide cylinder. And then I will do a nice curved bottom edge that matches the curve of the top. So we're going to make all of our hatch marks, our cross contour hatch marks, curve with this top contour of the cylinder. So you just take this edge and curve it around, curve. And if it doesn't have that curve, then it's not cross contour hatching. And I'm going to pretend that my light source is kind of coming in from here. So this is going to be my highlight. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add in a whole nother layer of lines, but this time I'm going to make them a little longer. So you can see that it's a little darker and more dense here. I'm going to take just a short curved line right on the right side. That gives it a little bit of value over here. And now this is going to be the core of my shadow, so it needs to be quite a bit darker. So that's where I can go in with a whole nother row of the cross contour lines. You can even do cross hatching right here if you really want to. You can throw in hatching and have those lines kind of be broken and implied in the lighter areas. For the top edge, you could do straight lines, but if you're really awesome, you would even continue that curved kind of cylinder feeling on top and just very lightly suggest some curved lines on top. So that's your cross contour hatching. Really want you guys to master that, so try hard on it. Right here, you're going to notice that you guys are drawing parts of animals or a flower, and you'll notice that if you look closely, there is no outline on any of these. So rather than dive in and start outlining an ear, please take a pencil and so lightly sketch in where your ear belongs and use that as your guide. Do the same thing with the teeth and the eye. You don't want these harsh outlines. And then you'll start your inking. Now this type of hatching, I call this hairy hatching because it's like tiny little crisscrossed almost hair marks. If your pen starts to give out, let me know and I'll get you a new one. This does happen with these. But with the hairy hatching, again, the idea is that you have these short lines. Make sure that you're trying to master the lines that are further apart in the light areas, and just reference this example the entire time so that you can master each of these techniques. Good luck!